Tell me, please, what is thinking? What do you think? Unless you really understand the process of thinking, unless you really understand it, our life is always going to be very, very limited. So we must very deeply, seriously, as a physicist, as a scientist examines, we must examine very, very, very closely this whole process of thinking, which shapes our life. That is, memory is the outcome of knowledge, right? Right? Oh Lord. That is, you insulted me. It is registered on the brain as a memory. That insult, or flattery, whatever it is registered, which becomes the memory. That is, the knowledge of that incident becomes memory. I have an accident in a car. That accident is registered in the brain, and in the brain cells, and then it says, yes, that's memory. I had an accident, I must drive carefully. Right? So, out of knowledge comes memory. Right? Yeah? From memory, thought. Now, what is knowledge? This is rather difficult. We all accumulate knowledge. The great scholars, great professors, scientists acquire tremendous knowledge. You understand? So what is knowledge? How does it come about to have knowledge? So, haven't you thought about all this? Looked at all this? Knowledge comes when there is experience. Right? You have an accident in a car, that becomes the accident. That's an experience, right? Right? From that experience you have knowledge. And from that knowledge you have memory. From memory you have thought. And so on. Knowledge, experience, knowledge, memory, thought. Clear? This is logical. Not my way of looking at it or your way of looking at it. So, all experience, whether it's God's experience or your experience, is limited. Yes? Right? Would you agree? Would you see that? All experience. Because you look at it, the scientists are adding every day more and more and more. Right? That which is added to is always limited. Right? Don't agree. Look at it, look at it. I know little, and I must know more. You are adding, right? That which you add to must be limited. Thinking being limited, we have reduced the whole universe into a very small affair. You understand? We made our life into such a small affair I think I must be this, I must not be that, I must have power, I mustn't. You follow? We have reduced the enormous quality of life into a very small, petty little affair. Right? So, is it possible to be free of thought? Apart from your profession, apart from your name, or put it the other way, are you your name? Are you your profession? Or are you part of the community? Or are you part of the tradition? Hindu. That's a tradition, a name. So, what are you? Don't repeat what Gita says, Upanishad says, or somebody says. That's futile. Actual, what are you? God, what's the matter with all of this? Is this first time that this question has been put to you? What am I? Aren't you fear? Aren't you your name? Aren't you your body? Aren't you what you think you are? The image you have built about yourself. Aren't you what that? Aren't you your anger? Or you say, no, anger is separate from me. Come on, sir. Aren't you your fears, your ambitions, your greed, your competition, your uncertainty, your confusion, your pain, your sorrow? Aren't you all that? Aren't you the guru you follow with some medallion and all kind of stuff you put around your neck? So when you identify yourself with that, that's your fear, your pleasure, your pain, your sorrow, your affection, your rudeness, all that. Aren't you all that? Or are you something high up? Super self, super consciousness. If you say you're super consciousness, higher self, that's also part of thinking. Therefore, what you put as call higher thinking, higher self, is still very small. So what am I? Have you seen the facts of the world? Which is you. The world is you. Have you seen the facts of all that? Or are they all ideas? There is a difference between fact and idea. The idea is never the fact. The microphone, this thing in front of the speaker, the word microphone is not the thing, right? The word is not the thing. But we have made the word the thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, the Hindu is not you. The word is not you. You are the fact, not the word. I wanted to see all this. So can we see the word and see the word is not the thing. The word God is not God. The word is different totally from the reality. Right? So we are most respectfully asking, what have you learned this morning? Actually learned. So that you act. Let's say, yes, quite right, and go home and carry on. So unless we act, the world is in a great chaos. I don't know if you realize it. There's great trouble in the world, great misery. And the world is you. Because you are in misery, you are confused, you are all this. Therefore you are creating the world around you. You understand what I'm saying? God's sake. If you don't alter, the world cannot alter, change. Because the world, everywhere you go, every human being in the world goes through the same phenomenon as you are going through. Uncertain, unhappy, fearful, insecure, wanting security, trying to control, trying to say, well, that guru is better than my guru, and so on, so. Creating wars. You understand, sir? I'm not the speaker is not an optimist or a pessimist. We are presenting you with the facts, not newspaper facts. We are talking about facts of our life. Not the life of a guru or of the emperor or somebody else. We are talking together about your life. Your life is like the rest of the world. They are terribly unhappy, uncertain, miserable, unemployed by the million. Poverty, hunger, sorrow, pain, just like you. You are not different from them. You may call yourself Hindu or Muslims or Christians or what you like, but consciously, inwardly, you are like the rest of the world. You may be dark brown or they be light brown. Different government, but every human being shares this terrible world of which we have made the world. You understand? If you want society to be something different, you have to start. You have to bring order to your house. The house is you. All right, sir.